footed, couldn't keep it down, and it goes over the top of the crossbar and out for a goal
well,
kick.
That's where Billy Sharp's at his best. You put that ball in the box, he's, if the goalie saves it, it hits the post, hits the crossbar, he's normally sniffs them chances out, and that's where he gets a lot of his goals. He's not frightened to miss, Billy Sharp. He always has a go. As you say there, it was a difficult technique. It was slightly behind him. He tried to volley it, and obviously it's gone over the crossbar.
Well, whilst Newcastle United are struggling to score goals at one end, the total of 12 is a joint lowest of home goals this season, along with Crystal Palace in the top flight. They do have a good habit of keeping them out at the other end. In fact, it's 4 successive clean sheets at St James's Park, and I'm sure Steve Bruce will hope that they can maintain here today. It's just over 6 hours of football since they'd last conceded a goal. Saint-Maximin on the overlap, Almiron making that run to the left side of the penalty area. Here he is, plays it back, Hayden goes square, Ritchie central position midway through the Sheffield United half, pacey ball to the feet of Almiron. Almiron waits, back to Hayden once again, Saint-Maximin, central position, quick to close him down. Feeds it then to Hayden, drifting back out towards the left. Almiron fires over the cross, headed away by Egan. Stopped by Berger on the edge of the D of his own penalty area. And in the sunshine, it's Ender Stevens who can bring the ball forward. Up towards the halfway line he goes. Leaves it now for Robinson, making that run on the outside of him. Baldock has made the run from right wing back. Danny Rose will watch that ball, and he watched it intently. And then with an outstretched left leg, pushed it out of play for a throw that Baldock will want to take on this near side. Still, Newcastle United 0, Sheffield United 0. Berger. Blocked, cross by Hayden, picked up by Rose. Rose tries to switch play to Saint-Maximin over on that far side, the left. And out of play, it will run away from him for a Sheffield United throw, Chris Waddle.
Yeah, I think a lot of things go through Norwood. He sits in front of that back three and he likes to get on the ball, and it seems to first look, but he's not on his game today. He's given the ball away more than any other player, I think, so far in a red and white shirt. So he's important to the way United start attacks, and at the moment, when they're going through him, he's giving the ball away too easy.
Newcastle United are in possession. Hit long by Danny Rose, the Newcastle United left back. Headed away, Norwood for Baldock here for the away team. Back with Basham once again. And John Egan at the centre of that back three for the Blades. Gives it to Basham. Baldock has already gone on ahead of him on this near side. Basham will play it forward. Norwood tells Egan to switch it. They try and play it out towards the left. And now they pick out Fleck. Left of the centre circle. Forward ball. Headed up by a leaping Lascelles, and then eventually cleared by Manquillo.
The two wingers have swapped as well for Newcastle, and Matt Ritchie's come to the left-hand side, and St Maxime's gone to the right, where that's where he had his best run early in the game, on that right-hand side. So if they can get the ball out to him.
He's always going to cause a threat, is Alain Saint-Maximin. 3 goals since he arrived from Nice for £16.5 million. But the game is a lot more even now, isn't it? We said that Sheffield United had started well. Yeah, very, very even now.
Yeah, you'd say first 10 minutes definitely Sheffield United looked the team with the best rhythm about them and the best tempo about them, but then Newcastle for 15 have come back. But now Sheffield United have got the ball a lot more, and they've upped the tempo.
Every outfield player is in the Newcastle half. Chris Wilder turns away in frustration as Fleck plays it forward, left-footed, cleared away by the right foot of Fernandes for Newcastle on the edge of his penalty area. Joel Linton heads it to Ritchie. Ritchie then lifts it high, and Almiron in a foot chase with Egan, and Almiron will try and get there. And Almiron goes down inside the penalty area, but David Coote, the referee, was up with play. He had a good look at that, and he said no. I think outside the area, Almiron's shirt was being tugged by Egan, but whether it was enough to warrant a penalty.
Great pace by Almiron. Egan struggled there to keep. If the ball had been another 3 or 4 yards, he was in Almiron. He got the legs on Egan.
McBurney has come midway through the Newcastle half to try and win the ball. He's lost out in the sliding challenge to Hayden. And Shelby plays it back. Here is Danny Rose. A bit of room for him to run into. The on loan Tottenham defender, and then he gives the ball away straight to Basham. Basham then will just nudge it past Saint-Maximin. Then he comes on the inside, and it's a strong run this by Basham, and they're looking for the flag. Billy Sharp offside. Chris Basham did to Maximin what Maximin would normally do to him.
Yeah, well, I think Danny Rose has got to tighten his game up. He's given the ball away a lot and putting his hands in the air as if it's somebody else's fault. But, if Danny Rose hits a black and white shirt, he ain't got a problem. So, Basham, they're encouraged. Chris Wilder encourages the two centre-halves, who play right and left, to go and join in. And, if they can go and step into that midfield, go and do it.
Robinson doesn't seem to get forward as much as O'Connell, does he?
No, definitely not. He's more of thinking maybe his defensive role, but he will have license, I'm sure he has. But Basham's been in the team quite a few years now, and he knows the role he's got to play.
Half an hour played on BBC Radio 5 Live, and it is still Newcastle 0, Sheffield United 0. Joel Linton. Just a little bit of words being spoken there with Egan, the two of them. Bit of nonsense between the two of them, really, wasn't it? But David Coote, the referee, I think is going to take action. He's got his yellow card out. He's telling them both to calm down. Didn't necessarily warrant that, did it? You wouldn't have thought.
Just have a word with him. Listen, he wouldn't put the ball down. Egan obviously tried to knock the ball out of his hand. Joe Linton should have dropped the ball, let's be honest. But he wanted players to get in position. All he needed to say there was a quick word. It's been a good game so far. Nothing happening. No bad tackles. It's played in a good spirit at the moment. So he didn't need to get the yellow card out.
And yet he has booked both. So both John Egan and Linton have been shown yellow cards by referee David Coote. 14 minutes to go to half-time. Just clouding over a fraction. Still 0-0 here at St James's Park. As Egan goes long, headed away by Hayden, brought under control by Saint-Maximin, who's once again on the right-hand side. Newcastle thought he was fouled. Play continues. McBurney plays it back out to Berger. Norwood joins the attack. Right-footed ball on that right-hand side. Forward to Almiron, short of the halfway line. Plays it to Ritchie. Hits it first time. Shelby's breaking through from midfield. Egan with a back pass, and Henderson will clear. Left-footed, first-time strike by the on-loan goalkeeper from Manchester United, and it'll be a Newcastle throw on that right-hand side.
It's a hard one to call this, Ian, isn't it? Sometimes you can be watching a game and you think, well, they're on top and they're going to win, and you can see they're going to score a goal after, or maybe 2 or 3 goals. But this game, is very close. Both teams are having good spells, so it's a very hard one to call.
The one thing what I was expecting is not many goals. This was never going to be a goal fest today, was it?
No, you would think, looking at the form of the team, not the form, the way they played the season out and the goals they've scored, it's based on clean sheets, isn't it? So
Maximin has just bundled over Baldock. That'll be a free kick to Sheffield United on the right-hand side. Norwood's going to take it, but everybody's come forward from the back. Robinson, Basham, Egan's also making his way there. It'll be Ender Stevens who'll be the last line of defence. The left wing back just stands midway through the Newcastle half to make sure to try and curtail any potential counter-attack, but Norwood's going to take it. Very, very crowded penalty area for the red and white striped shirts of Sheffield United, and Norwood curls it in now. Headed away though by Lascelles, edge of the area. A couple of touches there for Fleck, didn't get past Joel Linton. Played forward then by Manquillo to Saint-Maximin. They tried to take him out there, did Ender Stevens. Saint-Maximin rode the challenge. His forward ball stopped though by Baldock, who has come from a right wing back position across to that far side, the left, to cover, and it was a good job that he'd read that situation.
That was a good chance here. He should have ran with the ball though. He should have kept running. John Joe Shelby's made a terrific run. He's took people with him. I'd given the space for him to keep running with it. He's tried the pass to John Joe Shelby. It's cut out.
Saint-Maximin brings this bouncing ball under control. 6 yards short of the halfway line. Shows strength and balance. Holding off the challenge, back with Lascelles. A couple of touches, hits a right-footed ball to Joel Linton, drifting out towards that right-hand side. And then Robinson, trying to play it back to Henderson, has knocked it behind for a corner kick. and he hopped in frustration, did Jack Robinson at that. So with 11 minutes to go to half-time, it's a corner kick to Newcastle United that Richie's going to go across to take.
Yeah, both. But I was looking at the two teams when they were lining up here when they come out before the kick-off, and they're very similar in size, both teams. So set pieces, it's going to have to be spot-on delivery.
Sheffield United have everybody back to deal with this corner kick. Richie on that far side, the right. Newcastle playing from right to left. Attacking the Leesy's end. In it comes now from Richie. Headed away by McBurney inside his 6-yard area. Headed further clear by Norwood. Manquillo turns on the halfway line inside the centre circle and all the way back to Dubravka, the goalkeeper in green. And the two continue to exchange passes as Dubravka now, Slovakian international, strikes it. Little touch there by Lascelles, who'd stayed forward. Almiron has kept it in play. And then it'll be marshalled out for a goal kick for Sheffield United. Still 0-0. In case you missed it, Cardiff City beat Leeds United by 2-0 in the Championship. So West Brom stay top with 8 games to play. West Brom and Leeds both together on 71 points. Still then hope for Scott Parker's Fulham, 7 points behind. Still then hope for Scott Parker's Fulham, 7 points behind. And we've got 2 more commentaries to come. Aston Villa against Chelsea at 4:15, followed by the Merseyside derby, Everton-Liverpool, with John Murray and Mark Lawrenson from 7. And you can see all the action on Match of the Day 2 tonight at 10:30. McBurney heads it on, off the chest of Billy Sharp, dropped to his knees, quickly back to his feet, loses the ball though. Hayden, Almiron carves the ball back towards Danny Rose, hits it long. Egan brings the ball under control and plays it forward. Norwood's got time to turn on the halfway line. And Norwood, all with his right foot, along the ground to Baldock. Berger's just ahead of him. So Maximin closes him down, plays a diagonal ball, dealt with by Fernandez. Plays it forward. So Maximin. Berger pulls back at him. The referee has seen that one and now actually gives the free kick, which is taken to Hayden. Now with Shelvey. Still yet to have the first goal of the afternoon here at St James's Park. Ritchie caught in possession by Fleck. In fact, Fleck was adjudged to have been fouled and the free kick is taken, but not from the right position. So David Coote wants it retaken from its exact position, Chris Waddle.
Yeah, it's a very even game. This is so hard to call. Two teams, the passing the ball, the tempo is very good, I've got to say. But when you're getting good areas, you've got a little bit of quality where you actually think this is going to be a goal. And we've only seen it on a couple of occasions, if that. Some of the approach plays nice. Both teams look quite comfortable in possession. But in the final third, where it all counts, unfortunately, both teams are found wanting at the minute.
Hayden, forward ball. Joe Linton able to turn, touches it forward. Almiron waits, switches play. Newcastle, remember, right to left. Black and white striped shirts, black shorts. Danny Rose to Saint-Maximin, back to Shelvey. Norwood, did he catch Saint-Maximin a little bit late? Certainly went to ground, did Saint-Maximin. Norwood, though, tells him to get back to his feet. Play continues, nevertheless, now with Lascelles, just inside the Newcastle half, back with Fernandez. Shelvey's come across towards this near side as Rose pushes on. And Fernandez with a curling ball will pick out Danny Rose, who lays it behind him, and Shelvey's just behind him. Shelvey now switches play. We all know what the distribution's like from John Joe Shelvey. And Manquillo's forward ball looking towards Ritchie, intercepted by Ender Stevens for Sheffield United. He finds Fleck midway through his own half. He turns infield. Norwood with a bit of space midway through his own half. Joel Linton comes back at him. And now with Egan, stride forward from the heart of that Sheffield United defence. And there are 7 minutes to go to half-time. Back with Egan once again here on 5 Live. Baldock wandering forward, just in front of a watching Steve Bruce with his right hand being waved around, just moving from foot to foot, shifting the weight of his body as he watches on. He talked in his press conference via Zoom on Friday about trying to catch Burnley. Very much a manager who's looking up rather than behind him. Teams such as Brighton, Watford and West Ham still not mathematically safe as the sliding challenge comes across from Hayden and it goes behind for a corner kick to Sheffield United.
Yeah, it was a patient build-up that time down the left-hand side, and they've worked another corner this time. They've had a lot of free kicks, a lot of corners in good positions, but end products not happened for them. But it's a matter of time. There's got to be one delivery what's going to come in and cause a problem.
Norwood's gone across towards that far side to take it. Newcastle have every black and white striped shirt back. Norwood then with the in-swinger towards the far post, and it comes off the chest of Fernandez and out of play. It goes for another corner kick. Egan was the one making the run behind him.
Yeah, good run. It's obviously worked on the training ground, I would think, that one. A lot of pace on it by Norwood. Fleck's going to take it from his right-hand side. Similar type of ball, I would think.
So because the corner's on the right, and it'll be a left-footed corner from Fleck, this will be another in-swinger for a successive corner for Sheffield United. Basham's made the run towards the near post. Once again, it goes towards the far post. Ian with that downward header, bounced over the head of Robinson, and the break on now for Newcastle. And Almiron is the one who's running clear. Only Sam Maximan has gone with him. He's over the halfway line, but he's been shielded out towards this left-hand side and then balled up with the back pass towards Henderson. He'll be quickly closed down, and he chips the ball away, and Norwood takes it high on the chest, and that bouncing ball then is hit forward towards Sharp, and stooping and diving is Fernandez, and out of play for a throw. Yeah,
Almiron does a good run down this left, doesn't he? He's got no help, nobody can keep up with him, as St. Maximin was on the right hand side. He couldn't reach there,
side right, 4.5 minutes to go half time. No. To Stevens, midway through the Newcastle half. Works it back to Robinson. And now with Egan in the centre circle. Basham, right of the centre circle. Yet to complete 90 minutes in the Premier League, the Norwegian, and he's given the ball away.
Keeps passing like that. We don't do 90 minutes neither. So, I mean, he was a lot of money, the guy, and he's taken away to settle. I've seen him play a few times now, and he's the game sort of passed him by, and I think Ludstrom will probably feel he shouldn't have been left out, really. But when he's spending big money on somebody, he's going to play. So, but he's not settled to the Premier League at all.
No, he hasn't. £22 million they signed him from Genk in January. The Norwegian did complete 90 minutes when they played Reading in the FA Cup before lockdown, 99 minutes to be precise, but he's yet to do so in the Premier League, and we're approaching the half hour. There's a very dark cloud hovers over the Gallagate end, high up away towards our right hand side. Certainly rain was forecast later this afternoon, and it's gone a little bit chillier as well. Listen, if it rains here, we'll get soaked.
Well, I remember the game we did do here, and we did get soaked. Were you that time? No, I think I was with somebody at Connor. I think I may have been with. Yeah. I think it was snorkels and everything that day.
I remember a game a long, long time ago in my days at Radio Newcastle when the press box was changed. It just was one back row in the one solitary row on the back of the press box. I think it was Derby County before Christmas. My word, I've never been as cold and as wet in all of my life. And I think Newcastle were beaten that particular occasion. Didn't make it a happy day for the locals, if memory serves me right. But it's 0-0 here. Sheffield United with Ender Stevens looking for the run of Sharp. Headed out of play by Federico Fernandez on that far side. McBurney will want to take the throw quickly. And he picks out Fleck. It's played back to McBurney. Still on that left-hand side for Sheffield United at 0-0. Robinson, forward ball, cut out by Manquillo. Breaks back into the penalty area, headed away by Lascelles. So Maximan tries to skip out of the sliding challenge by Norwood. Sheffield United, though, have the ball back. Inside to Norwood from Fleck. Norwood looks up, turns. Plays it back out towards Fleck on that left-hand side. McBurney only now running in towards the penalty area. Berger's popped up on the left, and the last touch came off Berger, and that'll be a goal kick.
it's you look at this game and you think some of the plays are very good to watch on the eye. The midfield and the back fours look very comfortable in possession, but where the game's affected is in strikers, and unfortunately 2 strikers for United, Sheffield United obviously, and Newcastle. Joe Linton plays up there on his own. They're not getting much success. They're not getting much joy. They're not getting any joy off the defences. So the game sort of gets exciting until it gets to the final third, and then it fades away because there's just not the quality or the rates there. I don't know what it is. The runs, the quality, probably it's just not there, and that's why these 2 teams have struggled to score a lot of goals this season.
And these 2 have struggled to create openings in this game, haven't they? I mean, we haven't really had too much.
No, I would say Joe Linton's chance was a great chance. Billy Sharp's volley was a hard skill, and he did well to get it just over the bar. There's been moments when the ball's gone in the box you think maybe, but decent tempo about the game. You can't fault with the commitment of the players, the tempo of the players, but we're just looking at quality in the final 30, and unfortunately probably St Maximin's got that bit quality on the park at the minute, or the one we've seen, but apart from that, nothing happening.
About to find out how much added on time there will be. Of Newcastle United 0, Sheffield United 0. As it goes out of play for a throw, the 4th official has wandered forward. Darren England, he's having a little look at his watch as well.
or not, that transfer ban was actually a good thing for Chelsea, because they are investing now. They've invested in Werner, they invested before that in Ziyech, when maybe other teams are going to become cautious.
Yeah, other teams are going to struggle. Chelsea have got a lot of money. Mr. Abramovich, yeah, he's spending the money. So they have to be in the Champions League for next season. They've made big signings in particular Werner. I think he's going to be a great signing. I've seen a lot of him at RB Leipzig. He can play as a number 9 or come off from the wide, and he's very lively and he can score goals. It's probably what Chelsea need, but they have to be playing Champions League football. I think they've got a great chance. Their squad now is still really good. As you said, the two names you mentioned, Kante and Loftus-Cheek, they're two brilliant midfielders who are going to come back into the team and into the squad as well. So I think Chelsea will finish in the Champions League this season.
Results went Chelsea's way so far. They've also largely gone Aston Villa's way, despite their opening game against Sheffield United. At some point, Connor, they have to look after themselves, though.
Yeah, they do. I mean, you could. I remember listening to Dean Smith's interview on 5 Live on Wednesday, and you could hear the disappointment in his voice. Draws are no good to them at the moment. They need a win. You look at the permutations in the table, and it is actually, agonisingly close. I was at Norwich on Friday, and they seem so set adrift, whereas Villa actually are within touching distance of this, and that's, it's almost the agony for Villa fans, knowing that it is possible here. They get a win today, they would move ahead of Bournemouth, they would move ahead of West Ham. You've got Watford who drew yesterday, they would move ahead of Watford. They'd go up to 16th place, and suddenly those teams would drop below Villa. This is a huge opportunity. Obviously not easy against Chelsea, but as you say, the other results have worked for them. The teams around them, Norwich below them, Bournemouth, West Ham above them, have all lost this weekend, and that is an opportunity for Villa.
Connor, Clinton, thank you. We should have the team news from Villa Park during second half commentary of Newcastle United against Sheffield United. Hopefully get that in the next 15 minutes or so. Elsewhere, Cardiff have beaten Leeds United 2-0 in the Championship already today, and England's Tyrrell Hatton shares the lead going into the final round of the PGA Tour Championship event in South Carolina. Ian Poulter and Matt Fitzpatrick a further 2 shots off the lead. The players are back out on the pitch at St James's Park, so let's rejoin your commentary team. Keeping dry, Chris Waddle and Ian Dennis?
Just about. There is a little bit of rain in the air, isn't there, Chris?
Yes, there is. I didn't see that coming, but yes, a tiny bit.
We're back underway. Neither side has made a change. So in this second half, Sheffield United in their red and white striped shirts and white shorts, with Henderson in goal, a back three of Basham, Egan and Robinson, Baldock and Stevens, the wing-backs right and left respectively, the 3 in midfield, Berger, Norwood and Fleck, McBurney and Sharp are the 2 up front. And for Newcastle United, in their black and white striped shirts and black shorts, playing from left to right, so they're attacking the Gallagate end. You've got Dubravka, Manquillo, Lascelles, Fernandez and Rose are back 4. Midfield of Ritchie, Hayden, Shelvey and Saint-Maximin, Almiron in behind Joel Linton. And 9 substitutes, and of course 5 of those 9 can be used if they are utilised in 3 separate occasions. But we've witnessed a very, very tight and even first 45 minutes, Chris Waddle.
Yeah, 2 even teams. Not a lot between them, let's be honest. As I said before the break, Ian, I think the weakness of both teams is up top, and they are, strikers wise, I don't think there's enough there to affect the game. And you start looking at the bench. McGoldrick obviously is not on the bench today, and you're looking at, do you bring Andy Carroll or do you bring Gale on? Because that's something you've got to look at, Steve Bruce, maybe in the first 15-20, but he might be happy the way it's going. If he's drawn 0-0, it's a point on the board.
He picked up a knock after coming off as a substitute on Wednesday, did McGoldrick, as a slip from Basham allows Almiron to run forward to Ritchie, and coming across was Basham, and he'll get there not once but twice. Ritchie fell to the floor and Berger helps out, and then it's tidied up towards Baldock on that far side for Sheffield United, but his forward ball just bounces off the foot of Fernandez and out of play for a Newcastle throw. And I've seen on both occasions, because we're so close to the dugout here, both Steve Bruce and Chris Waddle turn around in frustration, the faces contorted due to either their players giving the balls away or just things not right happening as they would want in that sort of game. Can't fault the endeavour from the 2 sets of players, but both sides are just lacking that penetration and that creativity. As Stevens comes forward and now finds Berger. What has been a very workmanlike 0-0 game so far between these two here at St James's Park. Berger, the Norwegian. Back along the ground he goes, edge of the area for Baldock, just in level with the penalty area. The return ball to Baldock. Can he work over the cross? It's blocked, it rides up the chest of Fernandez. Then he clears the ball out of play and out it goes for a throw.
We're just looking for that bit of cleverness, aren't you, in the final 30, and somebody who can, you know, beat somebody, can stand a cross up or spot somebody in the area who can, you know, do something with the ball in the final third.
Joel Linton holds the ball up, lays it to Manquillo. Manquillo's forward ball is headed up in the air by Stevens. It's directed back towards him by the head of Fleck, who's going to come under pressure from Joel Linton. They managed to get it away to Norwood, who's miscontrolled the ball. Now Almiron can run forward and maybe take advantage, but as he runs out on a diagonal path from on that out towards that left-hand side, sliding across then was Egan
Basham.
Oh, Basham was it? Yeah. Again, Norwood, you picked up on that in the first half, giving the ball away.
Well, normally he plays a lot deeper than anybody else, so no team normally gets on top of it. Newcastle, Almiron has done a job on him today.
Saint-Maximin, the interception from Berger. The back pass all the way to Dean Henderson, all in yellow. The last 3 home games at St James's Park have all been 0-0. Oxford, Norwich and Burnley. Once again, we have another stalemate here at St James's Park. Lascelles has given it and has presented the ball straight towards Ender Stevens on this near side, the left. Attacking the Lees' end. Fleck, time to measure his cross from the left. In it goes. And cleared and hammered away by Federico Fernandez. And Joel Linton's first touch is to take it away from Egan. He was being pulled there, back by Egan. Egan's on a yellow card, and Egan's going to be in trouble. And there is the second yellow card, followed by the red, and Sheffield United are down to 10 men, 5 minutes into the second half. John Egan sent off. And Sheffield United now have it all to do.
Yes, most definitely. You've got to say Joe Linton, persistent, backs into Egan. And the one thing, Egan he's had a brilliant season for Sheffield United, I've got to say. The one thing he lacks is a little bit of pace, and he was worried there with the pace of Linton. As soon as Linton got the other side of him, he decided then, that was it, I'm going to start getting hold of his shirt. And he's tried to make it look, if it was, not really deliberate, but it was. And as you say, once you're on that yellow card, the referee had no option but to give him another one, and off he goes.
The first touch from Joel Linton and the turn was extremely sharp, and Egan was always struggling from that moment, and he tugged him back, and because of course of the... I think if you were to have a gripe with John Egan, you'd have a gripe about the needless yellow card that was awarded in the first half to both players.
Yep.
Long free kick, long range, hit by Shelby, and it's over the top. Because we both at the time didn't feel that yellow card was warranted.
I agree with that, Ian, but at the end of the day, he put himself in a daft position. So it'll be interesting now what they're going to do. Will he bring Jack Laker on, or will he just go to a back 4? They've still got the 3 in midfield, Billy Sharp, McBurney up front. Will he sacrifice one of the strikers? It doesn't look like Jack Laker's warming up, but that's it.
Penny for the thoughts at the minute of Chris Wilder, who's just been rubbing his bottom lip, pondering what to do. An advantage Newcastle United now with the extra man, if they can make it count. Berger, that's a head injury and a challenge with Danny Rose, and will mean that the physio will have to come on to treat the Norwegian.
He's just left it at the minute, and he's just gone to a back 4, which they can do. There's no problem there. He's got 2 centre-halves, 2 obviously full-backs who will love to get forward, but they'll have to pick and choose now the runs when they do join in. He still keep the 3 in midfield, and one of the strikers is going to have to drop to one of the flanks or maybe drop into midfield. So, but there's a few subs warming up now.
But also as well, we've got the conflab taking place as this injury is being treated for Sander Berger of Sheffield United at 0-0. You've also got Steve Bruce, who's got Steve Agnew, who's just talking into his right ear, and to his left you've got Stephen Clements as well, because Newcastle now be thinking, well, how can we maybe tweak it to try and make this extra man count?
Yeah, I totally agree, but will he put another striker alongside Joe Linton on? I don't see it. I think he'll give it another 5-10 minutes, maybe 10-15 to see what's happening, but at some stage he'll believe now they've got a very good chance of going to win this game.
Manquillo's controlled a high ball very, very well to Hayden. Curls it in. Joel Linton with a header. And it was easily saved by Dean Henderson. Again, a comfortable height, just moving across towards his left to take it. 7.5 minutes into the second half on BBC Radio 5 Live, and it is still Newcastle 0, Sheffield United 0. But John Egan sent off for a second bookable offence 5 minutes into the second half by referee David Coote, as those dark clouds have passed off with just the odd spot of rain that deposited here on what has otherwise been a very pleasant afternoon on Tyneside. And now the sun shines over something like St James's Park, this fantastic stadium in the heart of the city of Newcastle. And Steve Bruce looking to try and maintain what is a very good record against Sheffield United, where of course he began his managerial career. He's won 8 of his previous 11 games against the Blades as a manager. Indeed, when he started out over 20 years ago, Chris Wilder was actually a player at Bramall Lane. 0-0. Newcastle have a throw over on that far side.
Well, it's an interesting one for Chris Wilder, isn't it? Because Chris now's thinking, you know, I like to win. I want to win this game. And yeah, point's a point, don't get us wrong, but he'll be thinking, I want to win this game. He has a good counter-attack.
Here is Ritchie breaking forward on the left-hand side. Saint-Maximin is going with him along the ground. Oh, it's been missed. It falls to Saint-Maximin, and Saint-Maximin takes full advantage. It was Ender Stevens who failed to cut it out, and Saint-Maximin makes him pay, and Newcastle United take the lead against the 10 men of Sheffield United. It's Newcastle 1, Sheffield United 0.
Yeah, good counter-attack. Ritchie, as he played the ball, Ian, I've got to say, I thought, right idea, but there's not enough weight on the ball. And Stevens, what is he thinking? Just keep your eye on the ball, put your foot through it and clear it. Doesn't matter if it goes out of a corner or a throw-in, just put your foot through it. He's miskicked it, and give Saint-Maximin credit. He's followed in, he's anticipated it, and it's a decent finish. Henderson, really no chance. Now it's interesting for Chris Wilder. Does he look to think, we've got to get back in the game? He's put a defensive player on. He'll be thinking, how can we affect this game by going and getting an equaliser now?
His first goal at St James's Park, and it follows up after scoring his first goal for the club, actually in the corresponding fixture at Bramall Lane. And Newcastle United lead by a goal to 0. And Saint-Maximin's first touch is then to run forward, now to Joel Linton, and they're looking quickly for a second. Joel Linton now into the penalty area. Joel Linton aimed towards Almiron, cleared away by Robinson, and it just bounces away from Saint-Maximin. So Newcastle, Chris Wilder will be looking and thinking that could have been avoided if that had been dealt with by Ender Stevens.
He just took his eye off it. He's thinking, where is Saint-Maximin? Is he coming in front of us? Is he making a run across us? What? He just took his eye off the ball, and that is a simple goal for Saint-Maximin. But, you know, it's difficult now for Sheffield United. They've got 10 men. It's a warm day. They've got to do a lot of work. Chris now has got to make something. Chris Wilder's got to think something, how he can affect this game, because at 0-0 he probably thought, I'll take that.
It's been a bad 5 minutes, really, for the Sheffield United manager and his team, when you consider that Egan sent off 5 minutes into the second half, and then 5 minutes later they not only find themselves down a man, they find themselves a goal down 2. And Dubravka now, in the end, away towards our left-hand side, plays it forward. Hayden. Here is Almiron, dropping midway through his own half. Newcastle United now with the advantage. And it's 3 points that you would think, not mathematically, but would realistically take them to safety, because it would leave them 38 points.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think maybe that, the draw, whatever. The mate needs something else, mate. But you'd be very happy with that if you get to that total.
Goes out of play for a throw. Manquillo to take it towards the goal scorer, Saint-Maximin. He was shrugged off the ball by Robinson. And then it's tidied up by Stevens back to Henderson. 12 minutes into the second half. Sheffield United, who when they failed to score at Aston Villa in midweek, was only the second time in 11 that they'd failed to do so.
I'd be looking here to put Mousse on, because he's quick. Yes, he's unpredictable, and he can lose the ball very easily, very cheaply. but he's got a bit of pace, a bit of power, and he knows where the goal is. He's not frightened to shoot from anywhere. You know, there's nothing happening. McBurney and Billy Sharp, unfortunately, are working decent. You can't fault anybody's work rate on the pitch, but you're looking for that little bit of quality and who can turn it, who can make something happen. You know.
In the sunshine, here is Robinson. Sheffield United are a goal down. Ender Stevens running back towards the halfway line, running infield now, and still going out to the centre circle. McBurney's actually alongside him, very, very deep, the forward for Sheffield United, to Berger, who gets it back, 10 yards inside the Newcastle half. Sheffield United playing from right to left. Baldock almost showed too much towards Danny Rose. They keep the ball the away side. Now to McBurney, 30 yards out from goal. Able to turn, short and square, very lopsided. Ender Stevens lost it, then wins it back. Plays it out towards Billy Sharp. There's no width on at the minute, and that's the other thing about losing Egan, who plays in the centre of that three-man defence. As that was a good ball played out by Sharp to Baldock on the right. Baldock with a cross. Sharp meets it, and the downward header is wide. And you'd have expected Billy Sharp to have hit the target.
Well, I think Steve Bruce will be disappointed about players closing people down. They've just let Sheffield United there have walked 15, 20 passes, and Billy Sharp, you would back him to score that all day long, wouldn't you? With his goal record he's got, that was an ideal situation for him, and he's come in. Yes, he's slightly probably nudged off balance, but a player who knows how to put the ball in the net, he should have hit the target at least. And but Steve Bruce will be disappointed with the way Newcastle just let the 10 men of Sheffield United basically play around them with ease.
And when you consider that it was Sharp who'd curled the ball out towards the right-hand side, nobody had tracked his run into the penalty.
Nobody, no.
Before lockdown, he'd scored 3 and 4, Billy Sharp, and you'd have put your you'd have fancied him certainly to have hit the target with that downward header, but it went wide as Newcastle still lead by a 1-0. We're approaching the hour mark. Next commentary on 5 Live. Aston Villa Chelsea at 4:15. Team news from Conor McNamara.
And Deno, the Aston Villa team is unchanged on the side that you saw drawn 0-0 with Sheffield United here on Wednesday, so that's straightforward. This, of course, Chelsea's first game since the lockdown. Their last game 3 and a bit months ago was the 4-0 win over Everton. Andreas Christensen comes in to partner Rudiger at centre half from that team, and there's also a new look midfield. Kovacic, Kante and Loftus-Cheek all stars, and that means that Billy Gilmour, who made his first Premier League start last time out, he now has to settle for a place on the bench.
Well, whilst we're away with Conor and commentary, we'll with Conor and Clinton Morrison at Villa Park at 4:15. An opportunity to Newcastle United to increase their lead. So Maximan has made the right-hand side, cut towards Almiron, and he shot straight at Henderson.
What is he, 7 yards out, coming in the middle of the goal nearly, and anything with it, place it, you've got time to place it, you just hit it as it's come to his side foot, it's straight at Henderson, and that puts the game goes in for me, and what a glorious opportunity that was.
We've said so far that only one team has come from behind to win since Project Restart and the resumption of the Premier League. That was Brighton. Ritchie with the free kick in, cleared partially by Berger. Foul there on Norwood from Hayden. Free kick to Sheffield United. Watford against Leicester and Spurs against Manchester United rescued a point. But Sheffield United, who trail by a 0-0, remember, are down to 10 men with 29 minutes remaining here at St James's Park. And the other key feature is of losing Egan is that you have the overlapping centre-backs. Playing with a 3, it allows your full-backs, well, the wing-backs to push on high up the pitch. They're going to have to be... here is Baldock running back at the
minute. I don't know, Ian, when last time I've seen Sheffield United play a back 4. So they're used to a certain style of play. They're going to have to gamble as the game goes on because, they're getting beat. So if you lose 2 or 3, you lose 2 or 3. But there's going to be a spell where he's going to put Moussa or attacking players on to think, can I get back in this game? And yes, you will leave gaps and spaces at the back, but you have to take that risk. And they can afford to. They're safe. They're chasing a European place. 1-0 defeat, it's no good to Sheffield United.
Very good season that Chris Wilder has enjoyed with Sheffield United back in the top flight. 44 points, in fact, from 29 is the highest points tally in the Premier League from a promoted team since Birmingham a decade ago. And, they're ahead of Tottenham, putting pressure on teams such as Wolves and Manchester United, or at least that was the aim, for a place in Europe, looking to qualify for a major European competition for the first time in their 130-year history. The Anglo-Italian Cup in 1995. Doesn't qualify. Here is Norwood to Robinson. The 10 men of Sheffield United after Egan was dismissed, trailing by a goal to nil. Robinson to Ender Stevens, whose mistake led to the goal. He failed to cut out the cross from Ritchie, and Saint-Maximin took full advantage. Newcastle drop off.
Yeah, Newcastle are just waiting for that interception, that loose pass where they can catch you on the counter-attack, as they did for the goal.
Here is Sander Berger, just outside the centre circle. Norwood trying to orchestrate things in the sunshine. Leaves it for Basham. Right-sided central defender now. Forward ball, strikes the shoulder of Ender Stevens. Didn't know where it had landed. Saint-Maximin comes forward, and then he runs back into Ender Stevens, but he dispossesses him, and the forward ball will try and set Almiron away. Basham will tidy up, and with a back pass to Dean Henderson. Norwood. Now with Berger. Berger trotting forward. Gets it back. Burney shows himself. Flex alongside him. Here is Robinson. Leaves it for Norwood. Very, very deep now, trying to drop in between the two central defenders after the dismissal of Egan. Robinson to Fleck.
Lundstrom's going to be coming on.
So John Lundstrom, who started against Aston Villa on Wednesday, but the only change as he made way for the returning John Fleck is going to be coming on and will try and make his impact. Bentaleb and Muto have just been warming up as well for Newcastle United. Here is Norwood. Fleck going to be closed down by Shelvey. Ender Stevens level with the penalty area on this near side, the left. Fleck to Norwood. Now to Basham. Every outfield player is in the half away towards our left-hand side. Fleck plays it out to Stevens. Stevens has Manquillo backpedaling. He goes on the outside. He then comes on the inside of Manquillo, but as he tried to turn once again, Manquillo took it away off his toes. And now Saint-Maximin to run forward for Newcastle United. Saint-Maximin is having his arm pulled there by Ender Stevens, and that'll be a free kick to Newcastle.
He's probably been the best player on the park today, and at times he's been erratic, don't get us wrong, but he's been the player who causes the most danger, and it looks like something's going to happen when he gets the ball. Who's going to come off? Is he going to go 1-for-1? Yes, Berg again comes off and again struggled to come into the game. Struggled with the pace of the Premier League since he's got here, and he finds it hard every game. You see, it doesn't see. You think one day this is going to be it. He's going to arrive on the scene, but it's not happened for him. And Lundstrom will probably think he should be in the team.
So John Lundstrom comes on. Sander Berger still yet to complete 90 minutes in a full 90 in the Premier League, replaced by Lundstrom. With 65 minutes played here at St James's Park, and Newcastle United leading by 1-0. And now we have another drinks break, which is always the case midway through the second half, and an opportunity here for Chris Wilder to regroup and just have a word with the 10 men of Sheffield United to try and salvage something from this match. Chris Waddle.
Yeah, I think they're going to take more risks as the game goes on, and rightly so. Fullbacks are going to bomb on a lot more down that right and left hand side, and the two centre-halves are going to be left unexposed. If Newcastle use the ball well, you can see them getting a second goal, but it's a risky game when you get behind the ball in and drop deeper and deeper, because you're inviting the ball into the box, and it only takes one decent delivery, and we saw Billy Sharp possibly should have scored. So for Steve Bruce it'll be, can we press as soon as they get to the halfway line? Let's press them and get the ball back as high as we can, because don't let them come onto it too much. But Chris Wilder will go for it here.
That's the voice of Chris Waddle. The break in play. Mentioned that Aston Villa, Chelsea and Everton, Liverpool to come today. Tomorrow night, Manchester City against Burnley. Remember, if Liverpool, if they were to beat Everton at Goodison at 7 o'clock tonight, they could win the title tomorrow if Manchester City were to lose at home to Burnley. So we'll have commentary of that tomorrow night from 8 o'clock. We'll have news of Leicester, Brighton and Tottenham, West Ham on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we're back here at St James's Park with commentaries of Newcastle against Aston Villa. Norwich Everton at 6 will be on Sports Extra, followed by Liverpool against Crystal Palace. And again, more live football on Thursday. Burnley Watford on 5 Live. Southampton Arsenal is on Sports Extra, with Chelsea against Manchester City at 8:15. So if the title is going to be wrapped up this week, then you'll hear it on BBC Radio 5 Live. The first of 3 games. We are 3/4 of the way through. Midway through the second half, play resumes after that second scheduled drinks break here. And Newcastle United against the 10 men of Sheffield United are leading by a 1-0. Sheffield United, who've been unbeaten since the 21st of January, a run of 7 games, might well be coming to an end unless they can get themselves an equaliser after that 5 minutes that really has proved to be a turning point in this game. First with that sending off of Egan, and then the goal from Alain Saint-Maximin with his first at St James's Park. Newcastle looking to extend their own unbeaten run at home to 6 games, which will be useful, and they consider that they've got Aston Villa on Wednesday, followed by an FA Cup quarter-final against Manchester City in a week's time. Manquillo to take it to Joe Linton. Little flick back to Saint-Maximin, nudge in the back, bundled over by McBurney. Newcastle try and win that ball back. They do with Hayden to Ritchie, and they could have a man over here on that left-hand side. Rose is on the overlap. Ritchie will go. He won't need him because Matt Ritchie has fired the ball past Dean Henderson, and Newcastle United increase their lead and surely on their way now to secure the 3 points that realistically means that Newcastle will be safe. Newcastle 2, Sheffield United 0.
Well, they used the spare man very, very well there, Newcastle. He transferred the ball from right to left. Ritchie had an overlap as well with Danny Rose coming on the outside. But I've got to say, Ian, the shot is a terrific hit by Andy Ritchie. A lovely hit. Matt Ritchie, he's caught it really, really well. But I've got to look at the goalkeeper. It's gone into the near post where you would think he would have that covered. I can't really see the replay on this smallest TV screen I've ever saw in my life. Anyway, I just wonder if Dean Henderson could have done a lot more about that.
Well, he hit it left-footed. I've just seen a little glimpse as well. It was swerving away from him, but he never even moved, did Henderson? He just dropped to his knees.
And it went in the side where you think he's covering most of the goal, would have been that side. So obviously I'll have to see it on a proper screen. Yellow card.
Lascelles and Sharp in the tussle for a ball. Lascelles brings Sharp down, and this will be a yellow card for the Newcastle United captain. Indeed it is there from the referee, David Coote. Not been a happy hunting ground for them, for Sheffield United since 1979. They've lost 5 of their 6 visits. It's going to be 6 of 7 as they now trail by 2-0. If it was difficult with 10 men to try and come back from 1-0 down, its task is doubly harder now as they trail 2-0 here against the Newcastle United side, with goals in this second half from Ritchie and Saint-Maximin. And for Ritchie, it's his first goal since last March. But it secures, or you would think, Chris Waddle, to secure the 3 points.
Yeah. It's funny that when you say that Sheffield United hardly ever beat Newcastle United, and on bogey teams when you play football. And looking at it, I was looking at the stats and that, and thought that they very rarely get a result against Newcastle. And it's just certain teams, you don't know, it doesn't matter how well you play, and it just seems to be, you never seem to beat them teams.
Well, it's going to be a 5th straight win for Newcastle over Sheffield United in the league, and it will take them to 38 points. And with that big win for Brighton yesterday, they've got a 4-point buffer over Watford. All of a sudden you're thinking it's 3 from 5 down at the bottom of the table. I mean, Brighton will still got work to do on 32 points, but the onus is on your Watfords, your West Hams, your Bournemouth, Aston Villa and Norwich. And of course Aston Villa have got an opportunity to climb out of the relegation zone. Dean Smith has named an unchanged side, and we will have commentary at 4:15 from Villa Park. Conor McNamara and Clinton Morrison for that home game against Chelsea. The Chelsea side, remember, who occupy 4th position and are looking for Champions League football for next season, as Lundstrom, the substitute for Sheffield United, turns on the halfway line in the sunshine but 2-0 down. Forward ball for Billy Sharp. Billy Sharp gets himself with a cut back, and it might fall here to Ender Stevens, who strikes it and blazes the ball left-footed, and it whistles wide and out for a goal kick.
Billy Sharp did well, didn't he, to get round the back. Ball's bobbling everywhere, he pulls it back. Stevens has just got to compose himself. He gets here a little bit too quick, he's hurried himself, and he's got right under it, and away it goes into the Leazer's end. But Good response by Sheffield United. They're going to keep at it, and here comes on. They're bringing 2 subs on. Freeman.
And Luke Freeman is going to be coming on, and we're going to also be seeing Zivkovic, who's going to be coming on, and this is going to be his debut. He joined from Changchun Yatai in China in January on loan. He's a Dutch forward. He's 23 years of age. He's 6'1". He was once at Ajax, but he never started. He only made 9 appearances and the 1 goal during his time with Ajax. But he's going to be making his Sheffield United debut.
Flex come off for Freeman.
And Luke Freeman comes on, just as he did the other day, as a substitute. So he replaced Fleck.
Billy Sharp.
And it's Billy Sharp who's the other player. So Fleck will benefit from the run out, bearing in mind he missed that game through injury in midweek. So Luke Freeman comes on for Fleck, and Billy Sharp, and Zivkovic is the one who comes on for his Sheffield United debut. And it'll be a run out of 16 minutes for him, as those changes are being made with 16 minutes remaining, and it means that there's just one more opportunity for Chris Wilder to utilise his substitutes as a result. But he's used 3 of his permitted 5. Newcastle lead by 2-0. Sam Maxman with a cutback, cleared away by Lundstrom.
He's been the best player in the park today. I know we can get frustrated, and Steve Bruce, no wonder he's great. I can imagine him getting really frustrated with him, but he just does things which a lot of players can't do, and he does obviously excite the commentators because there's no crowd here.
Nothing wrong with being grey, by the way. McBurney hooks it away.
Yeah, but he's got a stressful job.
I've got I was going to say I was just going to get myself into trouble with the wife. I'll keep quiet. Here is Norwood. Stevens. McBurney turns away from Shelby. Works it out to the right-hand side. It's a cross that is headed away by Manquillo. Steve Bruce was saying that those players whose contracts are due to end at the end of June, they've all verbally agreed to stay on. So Manquillo, Danny Rose, of course, on loan, Bentaleb as well as Valentino Lazaro, who's on the bench, and Andy Carroll talk of a new deal for him. He's soon now for Newcastle United, looking just to make sure that they see out the next quarter of an hour, leading by 2-0 against Sheffield United, who are down to 10 men. Here is Lundstrom. Robinson in the centre circle. Norwood, Stevens' first time ball, and it'll be picked up by Dubravka. And it's gathered in by the goalkeeper Dubravka, and it's an underarm throw out towards that far side. At the start of lockdown, I was told to look at the league tables, because over the past few seasons, I was told, you look at the amount of times, or very few, the amount of times that significant positions are changed in the league. So I duly did that. I filled my time, because as you say, I haven't got a stressful job, Chris. And in the last 8 seasons, with 9 games to play, there have only been 8 changes in the positions of either the title, 2, the top 4, 2, or the bottom 3, 4. Very, very rarely do those positions change. Aston Villa have got something to try and change and do something about that statistic as they take on Chelsea. Commentary's coming up at 4:15. But it's amazing, with that amount of football still to be played, you're talking 27 points, and how very little those significant positions change in the Premier League. Here is Ritchie. He's going to let one fly again from long range, and it's gathered in by the goalkeeper Henderson, as Newcastle still lead by 2-0.
2 substitutions.
Bentaleb is the other one who's going to be coming on for Newcastle United. Yet to score still in his English career, on loan from Schalke. Nabil Bentaleb, the Algerian international. Double change then being made by Steve Bruce as Joelinton brings that ball under control, feeds it out towards Almiron, left-hand side of the penalty area, back towards Joelinton, and Joelinton with a landmark goal, and he beats his hand in celebration down onto the ground, because that is Joel Linton's first Premier League goal at St James's Park. It's Newcastle's third, and that secures the 3 points for sure. Newcastle 3, Sheffield United 0.
Yeah, Sheffield United obviously put massive effort in today. They're starting to run out of steam slightly, a little bit disjointed as you would be with 10 men, and it was a simple tap in for Joel Linton, and you can say he's got in the right place, and he hasn't shied away from it today. He does get a lot of criticism. We do say he should score a lot more, and his finishing's not the best, but he doesn't shy away, the lad, and he's got in the right position today, and he's scored, and he's going to be coming off.
So Joel Linton is going to be replaced. Andy Carroll and Ben Taleb are the two who are going to be coming on. In fact, it's also the first time, would you believe, this season that Sheffield United have conceded more than 2 goals on their travels. They have always been a tough nut to crack away from home. They've only lost to Manchester City and Liverpool. But the sending off, undoubtedly the turning point. Chris Waddle, 5 minutes into the second.
Yeah, it's massive at this level as well, and it was a finely balanced game. I don't think there was a lot in it between them. Both teams were struggling, really, let's be honest, to create chances, and as soon as that sending off, psychologically, I think Newcastle stepped up again, scored, and it's one of them teams Newcastle always seem to be, and Steve Bruce would be absolutely delighted.
And also Joel Linton as well, to actually grab your first goal at the Premier League. It's been a long time in coming. He felt that he should have scored in the first half, to actually just break that drought, as Andy Carroll does well. Plays it out towards Shelvey. Maximan is the other player who's gone off. So Maximan, Shelvey now on the right, cuts the ball back across the face of goal, and Basham is the one to clear the ball away. And 10 minutes remain, and Newcastle lead by 3-0.
Well, it gets them off they want. Sheffield United now, you can see a lot of the heads have dropped. It's hard, as I say, it's a warm day, 10 men. If Newcastle want to keep going till the end, there's goals and some more goals there for them.
So second half goals from Sam Maximin, Ritchie and Joel Linton. And Newcastle United are leading by 3-0 with 10 minutes remaining here at St James's Park, against the 10 men of Sheffield United. They'll have to dust themselves down, because they've got games coming up. Manchester United away on Wednesday, and they themselves have got a FA Cup quarter-final next weekend at home to Arsenal, and then the next league match is Tottenham. So 2 significant games to be going into as far as the push for Europe is concerned. And here is Shelvey twisting and turning in the penalty area, and then he's lost the ball just when he maybe thought of trying to get a right-footed shot away, and Luke Freeman will clear.
He should have rolled Almiron in there. He drew all the players around him. He just had to just roll it to the side.
It's the curse of the commentator, isn't it, that we were talking before about in England, in English football, since the resumption, how very few home wins there've been. And then today you've had Cardiff in the Championship beating Leeds United 2-0. And here now Newcastle are leading 3-0. Aston Villa will hope that continues for their vital game. We said it was a must-win against Sheffield United midweek. They certainly need to take something from that game against Chelsea at 4:15. Commentary on the way. Everton against Liverpool to follow at 7. But here, Newcastle United, who take on Villa themselves at St James's on Wednesday, will have commentary of that here from St James's Park with 8 minutes remaining. Steve Bruce will be up against another one of his former sides, as he again is going to be making another change. He's just beckoned Scher and Yedlin in the direction of the Newcastle dugout, as the cross is fired over from McBurney, repelled by the head of the Newcastle defence, and it's played back in, just a dink back in by Norwood, and it will not roll out of play. Yes, it will for a goal kick.
I think Sheffield United will get ready now for a big game at Old Trafford, and it's a big game. And as you say, they've got the cup to come up against Arsenal, who they really fancy the chances at the minute.
They will.
Arsenal are all over the place at the minute, so it's a very good opportunity for them to go to the semi-finals. So, but he'll be disappointed today. But as you say, at this level of football, when you go out to 10 men, it's very difficult to, in Chris Wilder's the way he thinks about the game, he'll be thinking, can I win the game, can I win the game? And as soon as he goes 1-0 down, he's not thinking about damage limitation. He thinks we need the points, we're pushing for Europe. And but you give Newcastle credit, they've worked hard today, the tempo's been good about them, and the advantage came obviously with it, the sending off.
The pity about the FA Cup, and in fact just for the Premier League, is just the fact that it will, you know what the FA Cup means to the people of Newcastle, and to try and imagine if they were to get to Wembley and to have an FA Cup final for Newcastle. They've waited all these years, certainly under the Mike Ashley reign, to get past the fourth round, and now they find themselves in the quarter-finals, and to have no supporters as well. Both grounds, Bramall Lane and St James's Park, would be absolutely up for a quarter-final at home to Manchester City and Arsenal respectively, and for that not to be the case will just underline even more the fact that it's so disappointing that supporters are still not being allowed, understandably, back inside the stadium, and the sooner that they are back the better for all concerned. As Manquillo with a cross, headed away by Robinson, it'll drop to Bentaleb, and he doesn't have the shot. Instead he plays it short to Shelvey, to Carroll, holds it up with his back to goal outside the penalty area, and then Carroll turns and Manquillo will not control that ball, and it will go out of play. And now the changes can be made for this Sheffield United side, and we're going to see Kieran Freeman making his first appearance in the Premier League. He's made a handful of appearances in the cup competitions this season, so he replaces McBurney for Sheffield United. And Newcastle are going to bring on Yedlin and also Scher. And is it Almiron who's coming off? Shelvey
and Almiron.
So they're the two changes to be made. Well, we said we weren't expecting a goal fest. Wasn't expecting 3 goals in this contest.
It just shows you how the sending off can make a massive change in the game at this level, and Newcastle have handled it very well. Sheffield United didn't really change. They went to a back 4, obviously changed formation, but still kept trying to go forward and get a goal. So. But they got picked off on the break, and Newcastle's very good at the break on the counter-attack. So Andy Carroll a bit late there on Basham.
In fact, it's Scher and Lazaro are the 2 players to be coming on. I thought it was 22 Lazaro, but it's actually 23. So Lazaro has come on, and Scher is the other one. It was Almiron who's gone off. As here is Freeman. Newcastle United leading by 3-0. Out towards that far side. Shelvey was the other player. As Basham links up into the penalty area, gets the goal, shot away and across the face of goal, and it was Zivkovic who threw himself at it inside the 6-yard area, out for a goal kick.
Well, that was a good play by Basham again, centre half who joins in, even though he's playing in a back 4 now, no back 3. Goes forward, plays a little give and go, and it's a great ball across the area. And they're goals. They should be goals at this level.
So Lazaro for Almiron, and Scher just going into the midfield instead of Jonjo Shelvey. I'm sure that Steve Bruce with an eye on the games coming up, because the fixture list is unforgiving over these next few days, with Aston Villa at home and Manchester City next weekend for that last day to the FA Cup that we've been talking about. Just over 3 minutes remain of normal time on 5 Live, and Newcastle lead Sheffield United by 3-0. But the sending off of John Egan 5 minutes into the second half was the turning point in this contest, because up until then it had been a very, very tight contest between the two teams.
Has Newcastle done the double over anybody this season?
Well, I know what it is. It's back-to-back home wins for the first time since December for Newcastle United. You know, you were saying before that I don't have a stressful job. When you actually ask questions out of the blue, that all of a sudden it adds to the stress.
Obviously, that's very, very stressful, isn't it? Looking at, has Newcastle had a double this season?
I can't multitask.
No, that's stressful, isn't it?
I'm trying to look down through my red book. Yes, Southampton. Southampton 2-1 at home and 1-0 away.
There you go. There you go.
Did I get that one before Gary behind me?
Yeah, you did actually.
Yeah.
Man, it helps, Gary, if you pull that face mask off your eyes.
2 minutes of normal time remaining. I was close to phoning a friend there. Yes, I do have one before you say anything. Newcastle with Rose on that halfway line. Newcastle leading 3-0. And now to Bentaleb. Pace of the game has completely dropped, and understandably so now.
Yeah, by the way, it's a very warm day today as well, so...
Carroll for Newcastle United holds the ball up left-hand side of the penalty area. Ritchie, who got the second, his first of the season. Bentaleb able to turn. It was very positive. Was Steve Bruce in his press conference on Friday, saying that he's looking forward, and they are now looking forward. Got that momentum to try and finish mid-table, far away as possible of those teams who are beneath them in the Premier League, as Zivkovic wins the ball back for Sheffield United. And this will take them on to 38 points. Robinson rolls it out towards Ender Stevens. Back towards Norwood. Just over 60 seconds remain of normal time. Basham. Norwood in the centre circle. Scher is ahead of him. Scher then gets the block challenge in, closes him down to Henderson, who first time this season he's conceded 3. Robinson to Norwood. Newcastle, with the exception of Scher, have all dropped off. We'll extend and they want that clean sheet, the 5th successive clean sheet at St James's Park. Over 7.5 hours of football without since they last conceded. Jordan Williams of Rochdale was the last goal scorer from an opposing side against Newcastle United, as Lazaro to Carroll holds it up on the halfway line. There will be a number of minutes to be added on because of the raft of substitutions that have been made, though, I would imagine, for when the 4th official puts his board up. As now we can see Yedlin getting ready to come on for Newcastle United. We heard from him before, ahead of the game, speaking with Nick Bright. And 3 minutes are to be added, so a minimum of 3. And Newcastle United leading by 3-0 against the 10 men of Sheffield United.
I don't think Yedlin will get on. He's been stood there 3 minutes already.
Here is Ritchie on that far side. Bentaleb drives it downfield, straight to Basham. He's a Hebburn lad, by the way, Chris Basham.
There you go.
Here is Robinson to Norwood, in between the 2 central defenders. Robinson. Back it goes to Basham, striding forward, tall, lean central defender. Little flick back to Norwood. Stevens to Norwood, now to Luke Freeman on this near side. Both the Freemans are out on the pitch for Sheffield United in their red and white striped shirts. Lundstrom still going. Touch the ball out towards the right by tumbling Kieran Freeman. Luke Freeman then to Basham. Seeing a lot of the ball, Sheffield United, but playing in front of Newcastle United as Luke Freeman turns, gets the shot away, it's blocked. And just striding forward will be Fernandez, and was he caught? The referee says yes, and that'll be a free kick to the home side. Chris Waddle.
Yeah, give Sheffield United credit, they've stuck at it, haven't they? Yedlin will get on. There you go.